Alright, welcome to the first video that will be me putting up flyers around Silverlake in Los Angeles. This is actually the first time I'll be going out without noise canceling headphones. So at the same exact time, I'm going to be realizing exactly how loud a staple gun is and how actually crazy it is to just be going around the scooter putting up flyers. But right now, we are on our way to CVS for me to pick up photo flyers. They're 4x6. And there you go. That's the classic running red lights turning in Los Angeles. And if I'm being honest, I am not used to all the barking dogs when I'm out and about, man. Those noise-canceling headphones, I'm already missing them. I don't know if the camera caught that, but that was the open hand. What am I trying to do? Trying to do a left turn there. But here we go. So I'm currently in Silverlake, and this is going up towards Glendale Boulevard, to where I typically do this run maybe about once every week or so, gearing up for show day. And a lot of it is I'll do the round of flyers, right? And then I'll go by and I'll just make sure they're still up. I am on the Unagi scooter that I get as a rental. This thing is a pure piece of crap. I'm on my third scooter because of how often they break. But basically, with that being a rental, I just send it in, they send me another one. It's a pretty good gig. And basically, hopefully, so after this, we're going to make our trek probably back around. I'll show you guys the Silverlake Reservoir. It's very weird that is the place, a body of water that I can go and walk around. Because especially being from Canada, I'm used to going to a real lake and walking around that, enjoying that. But instead I'm walking around the dwindling water supply that should not actually even be there. But hey, that is Los Angeles for you. And I don't know how long this is going to actually take for me to get used to actually how loud everything is. It's right here. So here's a classic telephone pole here where it's pretty much all covered with flyers. So I'll try to look at one that is not already been done. And right there we actually have the big one there, August 16th, 2 p.m. We'll go ahead and we'll just put a flyer right over that. Even if the show, it's the day of the show, I won't cover it. I'll try to do my best to anytime I'm putting out flyers. It really, if it's some bullshit, and I'll show you guys what I mean by what a bullshit flyer is. I have no business covering those. Advertisements, that kind of stuff that looks like someone else got paid to put it up is, if it's a large business, I'm not going to spend my time to be oh, I can't put a flyer on that pole, so I'll just keep going. I avoided the last little stretch there because that is a school. I believe it is a type of school that you get when you have a bunch of privilege. Privilege is what I always had in my life. And essentially, I've been over a year. I've been putting up flyers in LA, and it's a thing where I should have realized that quite some time ago I should have just been filming myself doing this just for the pure content. It's so funny, but it's like it is. It's like straight up. What I hope to do is right now I am just on the classic e-scooter, but my hope is, and of course, if you actually maybe look to the left, you can see one of those assholes in the Cybertruck. Just the pure amount of embarrassment I would have to ever ride in one of those. Even if you minus all like the Nazi stuff and how shitty of a person Elon Musk is, it's just a shitty fucking truck that looks like complete garbage. But here we go. We're going to get to one of the worst crosswalks to get across, and that's going to be right here at Fletcher that turns into Glendale Boulevard. And the amount of times that I have almost been hit by a car or just been stuck in traffic because the people wanted to make these dumb illegal lefts to get their car washed. That's just a type of like car culture I will just never understand about LA. The constant cleaning of the car, looking nice. I mean, I guess it makes sense because you spend so much time stuck in traffic in Los Angeles. And then another thing is, I don't get it. If you're going to be in one of those scooters in the street, shouldn't you at least utilize the going ahead of the traffic and lane splitting, which is legal in Los Angeles? And as you can tell, this almost has an embarrassing amount of pickup while going place to place. And it actually feels less embarrassing to be listening to music. Which is why I wanted a visor that blocks who I am so I can have some sort of anonymity. I cannot say that word correctly when I'm going around. As I say that, I have my cell phone that is tracked exactly to my address and where I live, where they all have all the information for that. But I actually do not have another show until October 24th. Really, ultimately, right now is, man, I feel like I could have made that light there. There you go. This is an intersection that I would, nothing funner than talking about intersections. I mean, this is one of my most hated, especially coming off the 5 to try to get to work. It'll constantly, and then you'll see right here. There you go. There's a prime example here of just slow traffic to the left of people just on their phones, and now you have people blocking the lanes. This is how bad, if you think about how bad my road rage is when I'm not even in the car. But it's really when you just start standing in one of these corners, man, you just start heating up in the sun. It is nice to actually have the helmet blocking the sun because, I mean, only a certain amount of sunscreen that can ever block you there. And oftentimes, I do jaywalk, but in LA, I do it less, especially when I know the intersection and just know that I can go. That is actually one of the things where I try to stand behind a pole or something, just in case there is an accident. I feel a lot safer. And as you can tell, with not owning property, is I automatically just kind of treat things differently, whether or not being intentionally or subconsciously. But there is something about knowing that when the scooter breaks, I could get a free one, which just lets me kind of jump it, throw it around. All right, now we're doing the fun stuff here. Hello, I'm picking up a photo order. Uriah Westman.
What's the last name and the size of the photos?
Westman 4x6.
Did you have a CVS credit phone number?
No.
Would you like to sign up for one? It's free.
No thanks.
Alright, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. And that was fucking excruciating. It's always been a thing throughout my life, is that, man, how much money are you saving to take that long to stand to buy a couple things at CVS? I mean, just the way that I would feel personally by creating any sort of line, so I can save a couple bucks on some shit, man. I don't know. I would say I've gotten better with my tolerance in terms of how much inner anger when I'm standing in front of anything that's taking longer than it should, especially when I already paid for the product and got it all going. Just one of those things. So now we are, to the left of us, well, I guess to just the front is Silverlake Boulevard. So after this, we're going to take a right and go up Silverlake Boulevard, which we will then see the water. I'm really setting it up as this big, exciting thing. And overall, I've been still rocking with these same flyers. The ones that I've put up now is I put up a bunch of different ones. I try to change them up because of how many I put up throughout the neighborhood. And it's funny, I'll be like known. Hey, you're the guy who puts up all the flyers around town, and I just want to be like, can you please see the show? I mean, I appreciate that, but seeing the show would be nice. But so it's actually kind of nice. Is the helmet I have is kind of insular with the visor and everything, and actually gets rid of a lot of the noise. I wanted to do the full face, and then there you can see it's the remnants of another flyer. And it's funny that I don't think I've ever saw a flyer for a show and decided to go. I don't think I ever saw a flyer and been like, man, I gotta rip that down. And there's a longer story to it that I will eventually tell. But there was someone that used to work at the Lyric that absolutely despises my flyers and rips them down whenever he can. And the thing is he kind of just goes about the same route, completely not understanding that I go everywhere. And by go everywhere, it's like in LA, I can go out to like Burbank, put out flyers. And in Burbank, places like that, is like, if you don't know LA, it's like, you live in the area, I'll just wait for that truck to pass. Basically, if you live in, we should actually probably have swung back around here, make that turn, but we'll probably just go up and around. So this Silverlake Boulevard, this place during rush hour, which I'm not quite, I think we're getting around to, gets pretty backed up with traffic of people trying to get on the highways. But this is a place where you'll drive to and then walk around, and it's a great place to make sure that at least have my flyers up. And then of course, because people do come and tear them down, we'll throw them on the ground. It's also cleanup that will be associated afterwards. And it looks like I'm just gonna miss this red. Oh, I'm just gonna miss the red, but there we go. There we are there. All right. This right here, we haven't seen it yet, but this is, I don't want to call it a nature preserve. I guess it is kind of, but you've probably seen this if you watch anything in Los Angeles. You've seen at least some footage of this reservoir. It's in terms of just who I am as a person, it's like, I wish I was the type of person I could just go around and be like, oh man, this is so beautiful, go walk around the reservoir. But I look at the way I grew up in like beautiful Montana, pure nature, British Columbia, Vancouver Island, there's these immensely beautiful places, and then I go by this, which is, I mean, of course the water is beautiful, and then boom, there it is. This is kind of beautiful Silver Lake, even up in the hills of Silver Lake. I mean, not really mountains and stuff. I put up flyers there. It gets pretty steep, and the reason why is I'll like put up flyers in like areas that will probably, maybe one person will see it, is that one person that will see it will like talk about like, man, that guy went all the way up to the top where it's only like a couple houses to put up a flyer, because of course they have dogs, they walk the dogs, or they hire people, and those people, they'll walk the dogs, right? And then and if those people can't do it, you got more people walking. Whatever. But this is the one little part of the reservoir, and sometimes they have this next part kind of open where you can walk between the two reservoirs. And on this scooter, I average 23 kilometers an hour. It's not very big. It's not very big. It's not very fast. And I just wanted to do a trial run before I end up going to upgrade to an e-bike. And with the concept, putting up the flyers, all that kind of stuff, is there's not a lot of time in between. It's really, I'm in LA to attempt to make it, right? It's to get people to see my show, and I'll have fun and watch movies and stuff, but there's just a constant, like, not fear, but like knowing that, man, you gotta get those flyers up. So here we go. Here's the Silver Lake dog park. You got the big dog park for the big dog, and this is incredible. So I actually still have a flyer up here, and I don't think I've been up here for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, come on, that's just like amazing promotion. And then we'll just like go here, and yeah, of course, these guys are gone. So here, we'll go ahead and we'll put 2 up. And this is like the whole neighborhood. Yeah, whole neighborhood. I mean, if you go around and you probably like did interviews with people about like, man, have you seen these like 3 calls flyers? Because I think most people would actually like be like, yeah, I know about the flyers. And you would think this type of town works with like you have a successful solo show that runs for like a year, keeps selling out. It gets featured in Forbes magazine, And then you would think that would mean that industry or like whatever cares, but it's not exactly how that town works. So I'm going with the tactic of a constant flood of promotion for my show. And look there, we actually still got one that is up there, but of course it was covered by some, I mean, like, when it comes to like flyers and stuff, even if it's like the oldest flyer in the world, I will never ever take down like a lost dog, lost cat, lost animal, even if it's a lost bird, I won't even like take it down. It's like, even if like it's been a long time, I don't want to be the person to be like covering up someone else's like lost animal. They at least took the time, right, you know, to put up the flyers and make the effort to attempt to find their feline friend. And I am, even if it's like sun bleached to hell, I am not gonna put one of my flyers over it. One, because, you know, there's always hope, but two, it's like that person obviously lived in the neighborhood. If they really wanted to, they would take those flyers down. And you know, I'm talking about the saddest form of flyer while driving. But this is it. This is the other side of Silverlake Boulevard. And it's crazy, on this side, you got like nothing. You got no traffic, and it just feels completely different. And that's kind of LA there for you. Is like, block to block, it will feel like a completely different world. And some blocks are like amazing. And what doing these flyers and exploring LA has done is it's really actually made me find love for this city that I didn't necessarily have when it's built in being in a Prius, 2008 Prius with no AC, living in East Hollywood where my catalytic converter gets stolen again and again. So of course it's hard to kind of get that love for a place you live when you're in constant fear of the place you live. But it's not in like a bad way, in terms of like I feel unsafe when I go places. Of course there's certain neighborhoods that, or one, I'm not gonna put up flyers up in Skid Row. That's just completely irrelevant. But this is it. Man, it is hot out. But I tell you what, man, this is completely a game changer in terms of wearing a helmet like this. Well, one, it's actually ridiculous that I've been going year, not only just on this scooter, on Lime scooters, just like, and I've crashed twice, but luckily I've learned to fall. Well, one, because I've dislocated my shoulder. I don't even know how many times now I've lost track of that. So I know not to stick my hands out, because if I stick my hands out, I'm definitely going to end up dislocating that shoulder. And this is wild. Since we got on this road, it's been really one car that has passed us. When you think about LA, you really just think about the highways. You only see the highways. But this is, of course, continuing the beautiful, beautiful tour of Silverlake. I mean, houses here, every single one of them is over $1 million for sure. And it's a place I live. I live in beautiful Silverlake. I live less than a block away from a Trader Joe's. I mean, like, I'm literally living alone in LA, doing it in terms of trying to make my dreams come true. I get to watch movies, and this is literally stuff that I've like talked about when growing up. Like, man, I'd love to just be in LA. I'd love to just watch movies. And to be in one of like the most sought after neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Not just that, but it's like I'm actually literally, the rent is ridiculous. I spend over 70% of what I make, and I've been deeply worried all the time whether or not, I mean, like, I make a predominantly most of my money from being a bartender at the Lyric Hyperion. And of course, that is where I have my show, and it's all kind of linked into the same thing that I've always done with any place I worked, is I made it, whatever I was doing, the opportunities around it, I made sure that I could connect it somehow with my dream of doing comedy for a living. And of course, like, working at the Lyric Hyperion is just great. Because anytime I'm bartending, there's flyers all around there where people could be like, man, that's you in the flyers. And there's been times I get recognized either for the PewDiePie City Council video, or I get recognized for the flyers. So I'm not saying this in like a snobby or like ridiculous way, but I'm being known for either the solo show as the guy with the Three Cult show, or like, oh, you're the Three Cult guy. So it's almost like becoming this kind of like not legend, but like people to people, for like strangers who know who I am. You wouldn't think that based on my following count online on Instagram. And that's one thing that like predominantly the industry will like look at. Like, this guy, me, I think I'm hovering around like 2,600 followers on my Instagram. And if you take that by like ticket count, is you think, oh, that means that guy can't sell tickets. Maybe he can sell like one show. But there'll be people have like 300,000, 1 million followers sometimes, and they can't get people at their shows. And really, there is no correlation between a following count and selling tickets, at least in Los Angeles. I'm sure, of course, that opens up to opportunities to tour and stuff by getting that following count. And it adds some sort of online legitimacy in terms of the show. But I think it would suck even more, though. You have that gigantic following, yet you can't do what you love because the fuckers don't buy tickets. And I think that's like the baseline between why people are following you. Are they just following you because you're cool? Because you really, with like Instagram and stuff, you hit that like critical number, right? And then it just kind of, it's just easy. It's not easy, but you just keep putting clips up and stuff. But everyone who's following you want you for that reason. And I'm constantly just trying to figure out how I can like keep people following me because they want to know about the trajectory of my career, but as well as basically for my solo show. But I'm finding, though, is that when the only things that I'm posting, right, are like, hey, I got a show coming up, the people eventually like will get bored. You know, it's just part of it. So I thought this is where, hey, I'm literally spending hours and hours doing this, putting out flyers, and you know, you never know what is going to happen in LA. So then there's that constant, like, what if a car crash happens in front of me? Boom! I'm talking about like we're living in the day that everything's content. And that's what's always like crazy about like these videos and stuff. We're probably in so much wind right now. I don't know how much is being actually picked up. But here we go. This is the stretch. This is on my way to work. This is, I mean, in terms of like theaters and where they're nestled in, like you just wouldn't expect this. And a lot of people like go to coffee shops, they'll know about it, and like there's like, this is like the Three Cults Theater. This is where anything in terms of promoting and stuff will eventually hit that like critical mass of people that are going to see it and the buzz that can happen around it. Right now, I am torn between actually deciding to film the thing, putting it up online, because once I do that, it's scary because it's literally putting up my entire life, and I don't know what else I can work on after that. And if that doesn't work out, can I do the show if I filmed and put it online again? Possibly. Like, it's just, that's never something fun. But here we go. It is just beautiful. And it's seeing LA like this is like so much different than in the car. And I'm constantly, of course, this is nothing. Hollywood is a disgusting hellhole. I'll barely put up flyers. But this is like beautiful. But this is, I used to go, when putting up flyers, I used to go one pole, and just everything. I've toned down my flyers in this specific area because I feel like people already know about the show. And the person that comes around and rips down the flyers all the time, if I don't put them up, he just kind of stops. I think he stops. And yesterday he actually tore one down right on this side. And it's so, in terms of like the wasting of the time to rip down a flyer of a place,